Hi guys! So, I am 2 days away from leaving the Midwest and taking a 25-hour road trip across the West, I guess, or whatever. Yeah, basically driving home to Portland. And so I thought I'd make another video before I go into exile for about a week, probably, just trying to sort things out. So, this is the last video you will see in Minneapolis, which is exciting, I guess, I don't know. So, I'm a little tongue-tied today, sorry. I thought I was getting a little more smooth, but probably not the case. It's a lot to handle right now. But I thought I would make a quick video about my view on kind of group dynamics and also, a moment of self-awareness about my general aesthetic and brand, which I don't even mean to pump and promote so much, but apparently it's really obvious. So yeah, here are some reflections on that. So I guess I realize I have this whole like loner with a blog thing where I'm this like tortured little nomad traveler and like I can't commit to one place for long or one like group of friends or one guy and like blah blah blah. None of that is, I guess I didn't think that was like super true, but I realized that if you look at my behavior over the past few years, you could make that conclusion, even though on the inside I've always felt super that I really want to have a home base and I really want to have close relationships and I really want to have a boyfriend who loves me, but it's just kind of never been the case, and I never I just kind of assume that that's just down the line, and this traveling thing is really temporary. But if 4 years is still a long time, so I realized that it might not seem like I'm in the mood to settle down, but telling you now, it's long overdue for me. And I realized that if someone reads my blog but hasn't interacted with me much in person, I don't know if it's for better or for worse, because people who know me in real life are also confused by me. But I realized that if you only read my blog, you'll get 100% of my feelings. I probably come off way, way, way angsty. It's the bulk of all of my intuition and deep pain and deep, I guess, joy, maybe, or feeling. But, it's the place where I process, and, I've made some friends kind of over the internet, or people that I didn't get to have a lot of one-on-one conversations in depth with, and a lot of these people, I feel like, could get the wrong idea about me if they only know me from online. And they're like, this girl is so intense, I don't want to be around that. But in reality, in person, I'm really bubbly, I crack a lot of weird jokes, I'm known for being very excitable, and I love people. And it's funny because a lot of people that don't know me from online and just know me in real life, from social circles and from school or something, they think I'm kind of ditzy. And, my intensity and intellect has been, popping out more as I grow older, but it's definitely not the same as reading, I guess, this 3,000 word rant on how, I guess, sleep has shifted my life. That's not what I'm going to be talking about in person, but it's something I'm thinking about. So I would like to think that if you want to know the real me, it's kind of a balance of both. But it's so rare that there are people that really appreciate both, because I just feel like there's this huge disconnect between how polished but tortured I sound on the internet, and maybe even cold, depending on your interpretation of how I express my feelings, versus in person I'll try my best to be really cheerful and really emotive and such. So yeah, in person I've been told that if you catch me in a specific time, I can come off really hard to read and be guarded, even though I can turn on that charm too. And I really, I guess, go between feeling like I want my quirky, joking side to come out more, but also for people to take me really seriously and respect me. So, yeah, it's also just I think where I am at in life. Like, I'm trying to figure out who I am. I just graduated. I know it's mostly on me to figure this out. And the good thing is I adjust fast. So I don't anticipate, like, it's kind of like what I write about is not like I'm crying all the time in real life, or I just need someone to like vent to and like just pour out all of this repressed feeling. Really, everything you might read is already pretty processed. Like, I've already come to the conclusion as I was literally writing that. I just happened to put it there just because I kind of feel like, who the fuck is going to read this? And then I'm surprised when people do, and I'm like, oh, all right, well, I don't know what you think of me now, because it feels like there's this huge disconnect. And I realize that I'm even kind of rambling right now because I am so self-conscious about this. But, you know, I think that through writing a lot, I have been able to pick up things about people that I would not have thought about in like conscious interactions. I always realize a lot more about things after I leave an interaction in person. This is why, I guess, like I said in earlier videos, I kind of have this reclusive side of me that enjoys being like with a screen and a computer and not having to face someone and see their confusing body language or their confusing reactions or something. But yeah, I mean, once you get to know me in depth, and I'm kind of sad to realize that there's not a lot of people out there like this. Once you get to know me in depth, though, like, I do let people in. I let them know what I'm thinking about, but I don't usually feel interested in letting them like actively participate. It's like when I talk, I don't talk about the hopeless parts of me. Like, for example, I've had a lot of grief lately, but I more talk about it in passing after it's very clear that I have accepted it, and I just kind of say it up front because I know that a lot of people kind of know about this just from my hometown or from school because they saw me post about it on social media. But otherwise, I'm not going to talk about crying myself to sleep or feeling like the world is a cold place, because people don't want to deal with that. Like, I'm aware of that. I do not resent anyone for that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. So I think it's funny because I realize that a lot of the things I think and say, if you read my blog, you might think I'm kind of this weird loner, even though I've also contradictorily said that I have a lot of friends. But I think it's like somewhere in the middle where I really despise cliques, but I have a lot of one-on-one friendships. So this only is really a problem when my birthday rolls around and then I have to like have this like social gathering where my friends who I talk about anime to are trying to mingle with my friends who are hardcore journalism and look down at anyone who's not that way. And then I'm just spending the whole night like in stress mode trying to figure out how to make everyone happy. Yeah, like I didn't have a lot of birthday parties growing up, and I definitely kind of did them almost out of social obligation like in college. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just like really thinking about why I think I don't like groups, and I think it's that I distrust them because I feel like you run the risk of groupthink to the point where I am pretty gregarious, so I can kind of pretend I'm having a good time, but I'm actually kind of socially awkward about that. So yeah, it's kind of like there comes a certain point where I'll just start to literally shut off and drift in and out of the conversations. And I remember when I was in college, I would really like to go to parties to meet someone interesting and converse with that person and hear his or her thoughts about the world, and or distract myself with a dance floor and, you know, that kind of thing. But I do not like group conversations where there's usually people trying to hog the spotlight with one another, and I just feel like I don't want to fight for anyone's attention. So unless I know everyone in a group literally decently well, I only really have one group like this at all, and it's like this whole group of guys from back home, so more, I guess, I'll talk more about them in the future probably. But unless I know everyone in the group really well, I'm just gonna kind of keep people at arm's length, not in a way that's explicitly rude, but definitely not in a very open way. And whenever I tell people this, they think it's interesting. But yeah, I guess you could say I'm into one-on-one connection, but insofar as it's like intellectually stimulating. And I would say that the people that I gravitate toward the most are the people who are the most intellectually stimulating. But, there are these people who they can say one really smart thing after I spew a bunch of facts and just blow my mind with their simple perceptions. And, I'll let you know if you're like that, like if we connect on that level, because it's pretty instant. But I'd say groups are useful because I take time to observe how people are in them, and I feel like you can see a lot about a person from how they interact one-on-one versus in a group. And just from years of, I guess, analyzing people in real-time interactions and trying to be like a fly on the wall and see how things go, I've really refined my intuition to the point where people just rarely surprise me. I guess you could say I have a sixth sense that doesn't fail me about who will matter the most to me, like curious and engaged people. And the sixth sense that tells me a lot about a lot of other people tells me a lot about me too, and then you get the little cycle of where I put it on my blog, and then I seem really overly analytical and angsty, and I try to keep that to a minimum in real life. Try to keep it really surface level. But, if you pass a certain threshold with me, or no matter how fast, usually just comes down to how intensely we connect, you're going to see all the intense parts of me right off the bat, for better or for worse. I mean, I don't really like this dichotomy about me. I think I want to learn to be warmer and more authentic. I think that just because my autopilot is good enough to maintain a rotation of friends doesn't mean it's acceptable to not be present with people. But I'm really aware, and I beat myself up a lot for it, that I am stuck in my head a bunch. And it can be wholly inspiring and also off-putting, depending on how you see it. So yeah, people who are there and call me out, but who I can tell really give a shit about me, they're really welcome in my life. And I just have a lot going on all the time, and those who have the patience to put up with that, who try to talk to me in real life and also read my blog, and who are just interested in studying me, that's awesome. A lot of people don't really want to think about that stuff. I mean, I wish I didn't think about it so much, because it kind of feels lonely, feeling that way. Which is why, surprisingly, down-to-earth people who keep things simple and structured are the people who bring me the most life. My best friend is someone who just will, smirk at my eccentricities, but not catch on to any paranoid shit I'm going through. So, if you can keep me grounded, and this is what I seek, I think, when I talk to people. I seek some way to get in touch with reality, but just as quickly as I need reality, I also need to go back to my intuitive world. So that's why the blog is so just whoa, esoteric and stuff like that. But inside, I just want to be, accepted. I used to think that I could only be loved if I was special, and I really, I feel like being a part of a group is so basic, but also something I crave at the same time as I pretend I look down at it. I really want to belong quite badly. I don't want to compromise who I am, though, and I feel like a lot of the time you have to, in a way, to have membership of a group. This really works out with, I guess, extremism, where I will never subscribe 100% to someone, and if they despise me because of that, then I will know that they're not a good fit as a friend. But, I don't want to just be moonlighting as a weird philosopher, psychologist person, and then meeting people when it conveniences my theories like I have been for the last few years. I want to be a real person. I don't want to be some fairy tale literary archetype of this girl who is just wandering around and people don't understand her, and I think I demand too much from reality. I want to strike a balance, and I'm trying to work on that and not end up as some reclusive, borderline suicidal creative like David Foster Wallace and Hunter S. Thompson, who are two of my biggest idols, but they also literally died at their own hands. I would much rather try to let life happen to me rather than try to control it. So I'm trying to learn, especially over these next few months, that there's freedom in commitment and being rooted in the present. This video was really rambly. I'm really self-conscious about it, but if you made it this far, I am very grateful for you. I mean, I can tell the kinds of people out there who do appreciate me, even if they don't say it. And I want to say that I appreciate you too. And yeah, like I said, I don't want to be some fairy tale archetype. I want to, I guess, have places where I can say I lived here for a long time, I got to know a community, not, oh, I'm some random person who just moved wherever. I think now I really say that fact to kind of taste how bitter it feels in my mouth. You know, like there's new beginnings and, you know, like Portland and LA, so yeah, alright, bye.